I'm Dale Smith for Looney Politics, and with the election over and the seat count being largely the same, there's a lot of questions as to what we can actually draw from this in terms of lessons. Now, while the overall numbers might be similar, there's some big shifts that happen on the ground which are important to note, but there's also questions that the parties need to start asking themselves. For example, for the Liberals, they became so good at narrowly targeting their vote efficiency in certain ridings that one has to wonder if they are perhaps losing some of the bigger picture around the country. As well, there are some big questions that need to be asked about their campaign vetting process for candidates. There were some particularly problematic candidates that wound up being discovered late in the campaign. And this is a campaign where the Central Party did a lot more of the nominating than the riding associations did. And that's something that the party should be looking at in terms of their future operations. For the Conservatives, they lost a couple of seats and really found their momentum blunted by the fact that they got flat-footed on certain issues like vaccine certification, or mandatory vaccines, or questions like gun control, which they should have had ready answers for. And the fact that Erin O'Toole kind of flip-flopped and went back and forth and had different changing positions on those didn't do the campaign much good. As well, the party needs to have a serious conversation about whether they continue the process of trying to tack more to the center the way O'Toole was trying to pull the party, or if they want to go harder right and try and reclaim votes that they lost to the People's Party. This is something that they need to really figure out in terms of their future direction. For the NDP, they had a bunch of ridings where they were very narrow losses, and this raises questions about their ground game. They did have a very big spending campaign on national ads, and a lot of focus on social media and digital outreach. But the fact that they stripped riding associations of resources that could have been put toward ground game really has to raise some questions about whether they prioritize those resources correctly. If they had stronger ground game in some of those ridings, it's likely that they could have picked them up in the long run. The fact that they only gained a single seat and didn't make any gains in Quebec and reclaimed any of the seats they'd lost there previously does raise those kinds of questions. Parliament will likely resume late October, and this is when things will start needing to really come into focus for the parties as things get underway for a new session. For Looney Politics, I'm Dale Smith.